How was your day?
I slept in until noon.
I love that. I'm very jealous.
Don't we think it's cause for concern, though? There was no reason for that.
But you've always done that.
Okay. And still I'm concerned. I don't know.
Are you comparing yourself to other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Stop that.
I don't actually think this episode is going to come out around Halloween because I did the math. And I think it'll come out the week after Halloween. But I'm still curious, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Do you know? I don't have a Halloween costume planned yet.
Oh my god.
I know you are usually on top of it.
It's swiftly approaching.
I should talk to A tonight.
Yeah. Are you guys big on couples costumes? I feel like no.
We did Brad and Janet, our first year of dating, which
hot.
Was a hit.
That's hot.
It was really fun. I'm also a Halloween repeater. I think all through college I was 11 from Stranger Things because that was so easy to do.
That is so funny. I had
one pink dress, and then I just had put red lipstick on my nose to make it look like a nosebleed.
Yeah. Do you like Stranger Things?
I did at the time.
Okay. You've never once brought it up to me. So.
I only watched seasons 1 and 2.
What?
Yeah.
Season 3 is the best season.
Is it?
Yeah. I think so. Maybe that's a hot take. I was Chrissy, who's a character in season 4 of Stranger Things, for Halloween 2 years ago.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And Paulo was her frat boyfriend that, spoiler alert, gets ripped in half. So he had a crop top on and a big scar on his stomach.
That's so good.
And she, spoiler alert, dies pretty fast in a really horrific way.
Okay.
And that's how the show kind of opens. So I was her. That was the year that all of my costumes were cheerleaders.
You kind of inspired me to watch it again.
It's pretty good. I also know that we've been watching it since we were kids, so it feels kind of
Stranger Things since you were kids?
Yeah. I was in high school when the first season came out. I was 16.
Wow.
It's been so long. Millie Bobby Brown is a mother.
She's a mother?
Yes.
I did not know that.
It's so funny that you're not online in the way that I'm online.
Who's dad?
Her and John Bon Jovi's son, whatever his name is, Jimmy Bon Jovi, I don't know, the son.
Bon Jovi?
Yeah, they adopted a baby girl over the summer.
Okay, sure.
And they also got married last year.
That's so funny. How old is she?
She's 23 maybe?
She should be at the club.
I agree she should be at the club, but kind of also girl, what, as far as child stars go, this is a good outcome.
I just hope she'll be a good mom.
She's happily married.
I hope.
With a child. She's got 50 animals. They live on a farm.
Good for her.
Yeah, I think she just took that Netflix check and was I'm gonna build my dream life. And also, I will say, not sponsored, I have been sent, I'm on her PR list for her beauty brand, and the quality is actually really good.
I've heard her beauty brand is pretty good.
Which is so wild to say. Years ago when it showed up, I was at my doorstep, I was Millie Bobby Brown. I also thought she was still 16 at the time.
To me, she's still that little bald-headed girl.
Yeah, it's because she's still fucking playing that little bald-headed girl.
Well, after this season, I hope she just retires and hangs out on the farm to take care of her husband.
Yeah, I hope Netflix frees her. Because I feel she's in that evil production deal with them.
Fans are mean to her.
Fans are really mean to her. A lot of the memes are funny.
What, her being homophobic?
I actually really prefer the Wallace and Gromit one.
I don't know that one.
Have you seen that? I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. Let's get into the show.
Okay, let's get into the show.
Episode 4, Dance Amongst Daggers.
Aired June 27, 2011, which is my father's birthday.
Aw, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to your dad. I tried to look up this painting.
There's a couple paintings with this name.
Yeah. There was not one iconic one, though.
It's not iconic. It's by Henryk. I'm going to butcher his last name. I'm so sorry. But it's Vatsky, and it's a Polish last name. But it depicts nude women dancing between swords that are placed on the ground while a group of men watch them. And I don't think it's that deep. I think it's just about the Canishers hosting this fundraiser for Buckner. And they just have daggers staring at them the entire time. I think that's all that painting, or the name of that episode means.
They were maybe reaching a little with this one.
Yeah.
Daphne's on a date with Liam.
At his family's food truck, and she's doing the not like other girls thing.
This was really painful to watch. For him to be comparing her so brazenly to his ex-girlfriend, who is bae. Obviously, neither of them...
They still don't know yet.
Yeah, Daphne doesn't know that, and Liam doesn't know that Daphne even knows Bae somehow. Yeah, she goes, whoa, 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 what did you say? When he's like, my last girlfriend.
And she said, last girlfriend?
For a second, I was like, yeah, yell at him about disparaging his ex to make you feel better. But no.
She was intrigued.
No, she was intrigued, and she's just excited because she's like, oh, that makes me your current girlfriend. And then they make things official.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daphne doesn't give a fuck. It's very 2011, and I want to know. They're talking about the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, zombie apocalypse, food, and sports.
And like what their strategies are for the apocalypse.
Right.
And that was such a thing. My friends and I would talk through our plans.
Because The Walking Dead was such a big show at the time.
I think there were maybe a couple movies too, like that one Jesse Eisenberg movie, Zombieland. Came out around that time.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead was like an early one. I Am Legend really scared me as a kid. I think that was like 2008 or 9 maybe.
Sure. But like the early 2000s was really a time of talking about zombies.
Yeah, we were really into
also
zombies.
28 Days Later.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Which I just recently saw for the first time. It was so
I
scary.
haven't seen it yet.
They re-released it.
Because it's some anniversary of it, right?
Yeah. It was really scary. I hated the new one, but that's something for another time.
What is it with pop culture and the zombies? Like, what was going... I think I'm overthinking this. Like, what was going on in pop culture and the economy that people really got interested in zombies?
No, there was definitely something going on.
Yeah, I am not smart enough to find the parallels.
But comment down below if you are, I guess.
Yeah, what's the connection between zombies and the early 2000s? Why were people so into it? Let us know.
Yeah, The Walking Dead's still running, by the way.
That show is still on.
It's spin-offs now.
I've never watched it.
The, like, flagship show has closed. But because I write about TV for work, I'm always writing about some silly Walking Dead spin-off.
I think the idea of people getting infected, it's a little too close to home now.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe it's some people's way of coping. Anyway, I kind of agree with Daphne's strategy, which is, I'm going to get a gun. She says, I'm going to go for the guns.
And what did Liam say?
He says, you wouldn't go for food? And she said, I wouldn't need my food. I'd have your food because I'd have a gun. Which is, like, kind of fair.
Yeah, she's not like other girls, she's getting the gun.
Yeah, she's not like other girls. She's violent. She's going to take John Kenish's gun. And then at the Kenish house, Catherine wants to use Bae's art garage to store stuff for the fundraiser. Meanwhile, Bae doesn't even want to go to the fundraiser.
Yeah, this fundraiser's for Buckner, by the way.
Yeah, because that private school desperately needs funds.
No theme anymore. We don't need...
theme's gone.
Theme.
I do think there's maybe an odd, because then there's lotus flowers in the pool. There's a lot of lotus flowers in the...
So what theme?
I don't know. Lotus flower? I don't know.
My favorite theme.
Yeah, after all that stress about a theme, it's generally just like generic. And Catherine invites Regina and Daphne, and that's where we get the reveal.
Yeah, Daphne's like, oh, can I bring my boyfriend? His name is Liam Lupo. And then, of course, Bae hears that, and she's like, excuse me?
She said, my Liam? And Daphne goes, no, my Liam.
And then Bae goes, okay, that's fine. I'll just bring Ty. And then Daphne goes, my Ty? Okay, first of all, Daphne never ever dated Ty.
Daphne never dates Ty. I think Daphne's more surprised because she's like, when the fuck did you meet Ty?
That's true.
Because Daphne hasn't really been paying attention to what Bae's...
But when did you meet Liam?
I mean, that's kind of how they both feel.
Yeah, but like, she says it as if she owns it, like, my Ty.
You can see Daphne go into stubborn mode. Her, like, mouth gets really set and angry.
Furrowed eyebrows.
She's so defensive right away. Instead of being like, oh, I didn't know. She's just like, yeah. And do you have a problem with it? Of course Bae's gonna have a problem with it, dude.
Yeah. Daphne is very defensive throughout most of this episode.
Yeah. And also, can we talk about how Liam finally has a sign name? It's just a shaken L.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, she fingerspells it, and then she shakes. She shakes, and then she fingerspells his last name.
Lazy.
That's how I feel. Is that rude to say?
I'm coming for Daphne. That's lazy. But
Is that offensive to be like, you could have done that? Because she could have.
Yes, because you're hearing. I'm kidding.
Okay, can you say it then?
But to be fair, what else could they do? Like, this...
I like Emmett's. Liam the loser.
Liam the loser, yeah, the L on the forehead.
Liam, whole face for handsome, which he would have loved.
Yeah, and that's true. Extremely handsome.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
Anyways, yeah, shaken L. I think it's just whatever. It's been 3 days and he gets a sign name.
I guess she was tired of fucking fingerspelling Liam.
It's not that hard.
Honestly, maybe she did it because Emmett kept calling him Liam the loser,
And she said, no.
and she was like, I'm butting in.
Actually, his sign name is Shaken Out in the open.
Yeah. So maybe that's why. Anyway, big explosion.
Yeah, she's in the garage brooding, and she decides to call Ty and be like, hey, can you come to this fundraiser? He is not interested. Absolutely not. He said a party full of rich people is not my vibe.
And I get that. Also, it's a fundraiser for her high school. And
he doesn't go there.
He doesn't go there, and he's 19 years old.
He's 19. He doesn't know anyone.
Imagine.
He's like, why would I be interested?
Imagine being out of high school. Also, we haven't really established that he's her boyfriend.
No, and it doesn't seem like Bay expresses why she wants him there. She didn't say, like, it's going to be a really tough night for me. I would like you there for moral support.
Yeah, she's not the best at expressing her feelings like that.
No, neither's Daphne. Teenagers, I think, all suck at that.
That's true. And then Daphne and Emmett are talking, and Emmett rightfully is like, Daphne, you're doing something shitty. You need to break up with him.
Even Emmett knows about girl code.
Even Emmett knows about girl code. He knows that Daphne is like being like a guy's girl in this situation.
And you notice that he has some sympathy for Bay here. He's like...
Yeah, he's got some sympathy for Bay.
Yeah.
Wonder what that means.
Yeah, he says, you're taking his family. You can't take a boyfriend too. Like, poor Bay. Thanks, Emmett.
Clearly, Daphne then tells Liam off screen about the whole situation because then he shows up at Bay's study hall to be like, hey, I didn't know.
I'm still gonna date her now, sorry. Guys.
Yeah, he's literally like...
Too bad.
Which she rightfully is like, then why did you come talk to me? Like, why would you come and apologize if you're not going to break up with her?
I think he just wanted to say, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's just like trying to clear his name.
Yeah, whatever. That was a very short scene. And he just said, too bad, okay.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah. Next scene, we're at the guest house where Regina asks Melody to be her +1 for the fundraiser. They're chatting, and then Melody reveals that she and Cameron, her husband, are separating, but she hasn't told Emmett yet. And then Daphne and Emmett come home from school, and then the four of them sit down for dinner.
Yeah, a dinner that's basically an intervention.
And you know what the most egregious part of it is? They're sim-comming. 3 out of 4 people at this table are deaf.
Do we think it's because... I wish if they were going to do this for the hearing audience's sake, they would at the very least just be like, yeah, Regina's signing isn't very good, so that's why. Because if they're speaking, it's for her.
But only one person is speaking. It's just Daphne.
That's true.
And Melody.
Why does Regina... Yeah, why... Regina...
And if you want to get better, stop that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on my little soapbox about sim-comming because I think watching the 4 of them do that, I was like, why? Yeah, anyways, it's not something hearing people should be doing when interacting with deaf people. So if you're hearing, don't do that unless they ask you to. As I hope people know, ASL is not English, it's a different language, and English grammar is very different. You can't do 2 languages at once.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So when people sim-com, they tend to favor English grammar, and then speech tends to take priority over signing. And then it leaves ASL grammatically incorrect, and then more like supplemental. And yeah, deaf people who receive sim-com, so like Melody and Emma and Daphne in this situation, they can miss key elements of the conversation because they're only receiving English grammar. If you raise children and you want to teach them ASL, do only one language at a time, do not sim-com to them. And that's something that deaf speech language pathologists recommend. Yeah, overall, ASL is the language of the deaf. So if you're signing with deaf people whose preferred language is ASL, please turn your voice off unless they say otherwise. You can mouth words, whatever. Just don't use the English grammar. It's so distracting. It really takes away from signing.
It also makes it way harder to learn.
It makes it way hard to learn. And I think that's why Regina's signing. I know the actor is hearing.
Yeah.
But maybe they should cast someone who is a little bit further along in their ASL journey.
Yeah.
But her signing is not great. And I maybe think it's because she sim-coms constantly.
Yeah, and then because she's sim-comming, I think the rest of the Kenish family eventually is also going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to follow suit because they're looking to Regina as an example of how to interact with Daphne. Yeah. It is frustrating that there's not even a scene to establish why that's happening. I mean, I know it's for hearing audiences, but yeah, do not do that in real life.
No. And then you also notice in the scene with the 4 of them at the dinner table, that some of the signing is getting cut out of the frame. And this will continue for, like, the whole show. So, like, let's say Melody is signing, and then it'll cut, like, behind her head.
Yeah.
Or, like, it'll show her signing at a really bad angle. And I guess because Regina and Daphne are voicing, and then also because there's captions for Melody and Emmett, I think maybe the producers don't think it's necessary to show that, you know, the full face and hands on TV. But if, like, a deaf person is watching it, it adds to the difficulty of what is being said.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that was my soapbox. Yeah,
I think it's important we
you.
revisit your soapbox regularly.
Yeah, I was watching this and I was like, I feel like we need to have, like, a Simcom alert.
Yeah.
Simcom alert. But it happens like 5 times an episode. Unfortunate. But yeah, anyways, what are they talking about at dinner? They're kind of just like, Daphne, don't bring Liam to the fundraiser. And she's kind of being really stubborn about it.
But
It's
I
3
think
against 1.
3 against 1, it's like the 3 people she trusts the most. And they're all like, girl, this is messy.
Yeah, back off.
Just, like, don't be making out with your, like, new kind of sister's ex-boyfriend at the fundraiser for your new kind of sister's fancy private school. That makes sense to me.
Make out with him any other time.
Yeah, just do it in private.
Don't make out in front of your parents. It's gross. And then Bay, for some reason, finds out that a reporter from the Kansas City Herald is going to be there.
Yeah, coming to the party, which...
And it's going to do a piece on the Sister Bird story.
Really adds to Catherine's whole, like, nerves ahead of the event. Which,
like, would that be one big happy family? Oh my god.
Yeah, she's really stressed about it.
We're at the guest house with Regina, Melody, and Daphne, and they're all getting dressed and prettying themselves up. And Daphne has that pink dress.
Daphne is feeling insecure because she's got this very cute dress on that she feels is not fancy enough. She says, I liked it when I wore it to the last 5 quinceañeras, but, like, now I don't like it. I think she should feel insecure because she's wearing a bumpet. That's my thing. I think, Daphne, you'd feel a lot better if you quite literally let your hair down. A bumpet. It's 2011. Those were already out.
That's true, they were.
And it's so dramatic.
I think a fun little messy bun would be cute.
A bun, or just, like, she's got gorgeous hair. You don't have to put it up. You could just leave it as is.
Yeah, the characters are rubbing off on her.
Yeah.
She never used to worry about labels before.
She's like, I've never been invited to something this fancy, which is so funny because then Bay pulls up in a hideous bright pink cardigan and, like, a dress that is fine, but is also kind of giving she bought it at the mall. It's not giving labels.
No.
All the older women are dressed very girl boss chic. They look like they're going to the cocktail hour of a business conference.
Well, Regina before that was wearing a very ugly moo-moo over her dress, and then Melly later sluts it up for her.
Yeah, she sluts it up, thank God. Catherine is wearing funeral black.
Yeah, John's wearing a suit, right?
Yeah, John's in, like, a suit, but, like, for men, it's like, yeah, that's your one fancy option.
Yeah,
for women, there are, like, layers, and I feel like Daphne thinks this is, like, a black tie event, but everyone's got on, like, cocktail hour attire at best.
Daphne, you look fine, besides the bumpet.
Yeah, besides the bumpet, it's totally fine. I think the dress is cute. It's cute. And Bay, take the cardigan off. It hurts. Also, I don't feel like Bay would be wearing hot pink.
Neither do I.
It's an odd choice. Like, maybe Catherine was like, throw a cardigan on, because it's like a tube top dress. I don't know.
Or maybe the costume people were like, they both need to wear pink for some connection between the two girls.
Maybe. Well, there's very little connection between them in this episode.
Yeah. They're not getting along this episode.
No.
Anyways, it's fundraiser time.
That bitch Denise shows up. She tells Catherine, she says to Catherine, you look brave. Fuck you.
Passive aggro.
Yeah, she's being very whatever. We don't like Denise.
Yeah. Daphne spots Liam across the pool and he signs to her that she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then she says, not so bad yourself. And he goes, what's that even mean?
In my notes, I just went, oh, look, Liam learned one single sign.
I don't know. I guess so annoyed when partners of that people don't know sign. I understand it's been 3 days since they like started dating. But he's like laughing like, oh, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Silly, stupid Liam.
Maybe be embarrassed, Liam. Maybe you could have Googled more stuff.
Figure it out. But
yeah,
figure it out. I truly have no patience.
But this really ties in like, Daphne has so many significant moments connected to this goddamn pool. Like, that's for that to happen across the pool filled with lotus flowers.
She should be a swimmer at this point.
I know. That would have been a really good plot line, too,
She's
because
a basketball player. Yeah.
Whatever.
Swimming's hard for deaf people. You can't hear the whistle.
that's such a good point.
Yeah, I hated swimming as a kid.
Yeah.
I like leisurely swimming, but when I had to do a race at camp, I dreaded it.
Yeah, how would you do it without being able to hear the whistle?
Well, usually I didn't go first, like if it was a relay, but if it was, I usually had someone wave, but I always jumped too late and lost.
I'm sorry. I was on swim team as a kid. That would have pissed me off. I'm competitive, and I know you're competitive.
Wow, you would have been mean to the deaf girl on the team.
No. It would have pissed me off if I couldn't have heard the whistle.
Oh, I thought you would have been pissed off a deaf kid.
No, if I was next to you, I would just hit you when the whistle went
I'm
so you
pretty
could
sure
go.
some kid, I think I have one girl behind me who like tapped my shoulder the second I went.
Okay.
The second it was time to go.
Yeah.
Which I think helped.
I feel like they should, in addition to the whistle, just like, yeah, have someone wave a flag or something. Do something.
Or yeah, put your hand up, like when you're doing a drag race or something. Like,
Yeah.
your hand-
Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
Okay, yeah.
Or like the scarf, like in Greece. She takes, like she takes the red scarf off. Like that's the flag.
Access.
Yeah. Accessibility for the win and more drama.
Yeah.
I think that would be better.
I went lap swimming last week or 2 weeks ago with A for the first time in a very long time. And hearing people are so lucky because now they have those waterproof headphones that you can swim with.
Oh, I did not know about those.
Do you just swim? Like, how are you alone with your thoughts while you swim?
I think that's like the whole point. That's like the benefit is that you are alone with your thoughts.
No, I'm like, I can't hear, I can't breathe, I can't see. Like, what's fun about this?
Sensory deprivation. No, it's like meditation.
Yeah. Anyways. I think
Anyway,
so.
guess who's here?
Is it Wilkie?
Austin Butler. I don't think we get his name for a while.
We don't.
Yeah, it's just his beautiful face.
Huge. And he's still a huge star now. Good for him.
But it was even huge at the time. At least to me.
What was he in before this?
He was like a Nickelodeon guy, so he was on
iCarly.
I want to say maybe he was also on Victorious. Like he had like bit parts, and then I don't know if it was Hotel for Dogs, but it was a movie like that. Like he was in a couple of like 4Kids theatrical release movies.
Yeah, he was like a child actor.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when I was looking at like Swish to Boot Tumblr, every single post, not about being Daphne, it was all Austin Butler.
Yeah. He's a fan favorite. He's one of my... I smiled so wide when he showed up on the screen.
Even when he's a little sleazy in this.
Yeah, wild first line. I was immediately like, oh my god, Austin Butler is here. And then the first thing he says is, Toby, now that Bae isn't like your blood sister, you could totally take a run at that.
You could hit that. And Toby's like, no, rightfully.
Yeah, ew. And then Austin Butler goes, okay, do you mind if I hit that then?
Toby is like, yes, I do mind.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, what about Daphne? Again, Toby, thank God, is like, no.
Yeah, but Wilkie's not going to listen to that one, I fear, just
Yeah,
based
and
on the
he's
way he's
there.
looking at her.
And he's there because he and Toby have a band.
Yes, their band is playing Guitar Face.
Guitar Face. I kind of think that's a fun name.
I think it's fun too. Later on, he explains that...
He makes a face when he plays guitar.
Yeah, and so it's like that face is why they named it that, I guess.
I think it's kind of cute.
I like it. They're going to change it like a bunch of times, but...
Yeah, it becomes Awesome Sauce Layer, which I hate.
Gross. I hate that. Yeah, but they don't have a drummer. They lost their drummer because
he was caught watching porn on his computer.
Yeah.
Would you ground your son if he was watching porn?
No.
I don't think I would either. I think it depends on the porn.
I don't think it does. I think like that's like a healthy thing for like...
Or if it's illegal.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's different. But I don't think that was the case here.
You think he just like...
I think it was literally just they were like, you're obviously not allowed to watch porn.
Yeah, they're like a good Christian family or something.
Well, this is an ABC Family show, so
yeah,
they had to get
their
they had to get their licks in about the porn industry, I guess.
Anyways, Daphne's like, I have a great idea. Because Sean Burry is a drummer in real life.
Hot.
And then they're like, what? Deaf people? Drums? That's not a thing. But he'll put them on later.
It's a good educational moment for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's like, it's not inspiration porn because it's not supposed to be inspirational, but it always reminds me of like the America's Got Talent people where like a deaf person comes on, they're like, you mean to tell me they can play the violin?
And look sexy doing it. I mean, Emmett looks so hot. when he shows up.
Yeah. Great friend. I'm gonna show up and play the drums for these two very annoying hearing people.
Yeah, he already has beef with Toby.
Yeah.
Who fucking doesn't know how to talk to him. So yeah, it's awesome that he shows up. And also because Emmett's doesn't really hang out with a lot of hearing people. Like, he's established he's not comfortable hanging out with a lot of hearing people.
But he does it for Daphne.
He does it for Daphne, who he's definitely in love with. But also is a good friend too. Two things can be true.
Yeah, that's true. While that's being sorted out, we see that the switch to birth story is all that everyone is talking about. And we go to Bay, where she talks about being in a TV movie. And now, who's going to play her? Natalie Portman?
Is that who she says?
I don't remember.
Not age appropriate.
No, she says some random actress's name who I had to Google.
Natalie Wood? I feel like it was Natalie.
Natalie Wood's dead.
Oh, okay.
She's the one who, got pushed overboard.
What?
Yes.
What happened to her?
It's a mystery still to this day. Christopher Walken was on the boat, and then, Natalie Wood's boyfriend.
Oh my god, did Christopher Walken do something to Natalie Wood?
Not to my knowledge. Google this right now.
I will be. Oh my god. Okay, but then she's like, and Zac Efron's gonna play my brother Toby, which, do we think that's a nod to the fact that...
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Zac Efron and Lucas Grabeel worked together in High School Musical?
Yeah, it's all Disney. ABC.
Oh my god, she died on Catalina Island. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at this later.
So she's not playing Faye because she's dead. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Emmett arrives on the scene. Go Emmett.
And then she immediately abandons him to go hang out with Liam.
But to be fair, Liam approaches her when she explicitly said, we should have some space at the party. But he
does approach her, but she could be like, hold on, let me... Because then she signs to Emmett, I'll be around if you need me, but then immediately, leaves.
Yeah.
And goes so far away that, if he needed her, she would not be around.
And Emmett is pouty the whole
night. But then he plays sexy drums, so it's fine.
And this is Lucas Grabeel's actual music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is.
Wow, I didn't hate it. And he sounded good singing. Obviously, when he started singing, I was like, this is Ryan from High School Musical.
Right. But yeah, this is Lucas Grabeel's own music that is playing right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Sean Gray's very, very talented drummer.
That tracks.
Yeah, and then I guess Bay calls Ty.
Yeah, Bay calls Ty again and is like, please come to this.
And he says, I don't wanna.
Again, he's 19 years old. Imagine being 19 and you shouldn't have a 15-year-old girlfriend, but your 15-year-old girlfriend is like, please come to my high school thing. Of course he doesn't want to. Meanwhile, Emmett is making sad lover boy eyes across the courtyard. He's making sad eyes at Daphne.
Yeah, because she's hanging out with Liam and also Liam's friends. They're all chatting it up. And later, he mentions that she's really immersing herself in the hearing world. She's talking to all these hearing people.
Yeah, when he is judging her for that a bit.
Yeah, which I'll get into later.
Yeah, but Bay watches him as he's basically Conrad Fisher level yearning at Daphne very publicly. And she's basically spirals because she's like, great, another person that is in love with Daphne.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even catch that. I think I just saw it as more she feels sympathetic towards Emmett. They felt sympathetic towards her earlier.
No, she says she sees him looking and she says, out loud, is the whole damn world in love with her?
That's right.
And the answer is kind of yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, despite the Kenish attempt to put on United Front, everyone is still gossiping about them.
Everyone's gossiping.
Catherine overhears gossip that John had an affair. This Richard thing is a lie. What kind of mother doesn't know her own baby?
Yeah. Meanwhile, some smarmy man is hitting on Regina.
Yes, Bruce.
Bruce, who, plot twist, is Denise's ex-husband.
Yes.
But Regina doesn't technically know this yet. Although she could probably discern, not maybe that it's Denise, but just that
someone knows him.
Yeah, people know him. He's a parent at Buckner. He's probably, if he has a kid there and he's hitting on her, he's probably someone else's ex in that world. Or cheating. Either which is, not great.
Yeah.
Catherine tries to sort of steal focus from the story by making a speech, and she wants to thank her rock, her husband John.
Not before asking people for what will be the first, like many times, to please donate to the silent auction.
Yeah, please, my God, this school needs money so bad. And then she says, I just want to thank my husband John. Where's John? He's not up there. He's inside flirting with Melody.
Yeah, he is chatting her up, I get, about baseball, right?
Yeah, they're talking sports.
And she somehow is understanding him perfectly.
Yeah.
Not realistic, guys.
But they definitely have a little vibe going.
And Regina notices this.
Regina clocks this as well. And Daphne and Liam are dancing together, which I thought they had agreed not to do.
In front of everyone. The band takes a little break from playing.
Yeah, thank God. The band sees them dancing and is probably like, let's cut this.
Cut the track.
Yeah, so they stop. And then poor Emmett.
Some girl goes up to him. We never see her again, but she tells him.
She was cute though.
She was. She was like, we did such an amazing job. He points to his ear. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. And then she starts miming and playing to him.
She says like, really good job. Yeah, she panics and flees. Ouch.
Yeah, poor Emma.
That moment where she's talking at him, he kind of leans in. He's so cute. I was blushing watching. He's like, he tells her to slow down and then he like points to his ear, but he's kind of smirking when he does it. I was like, the way I would have such a bigger crush on him at that point. I think the girl's just scared. I think she's like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
But where Hot Person Show done was down. Okay, let me write it down.
Why don't we do a cute little, flirty little like text exchange in front of each other? That could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Regina goes and confronts Daphne and is like, I saw you dancing. You're risking everything with the Kenishes by doing this. I think Regina's maybe taking it a bit too far. I think it's easier for Regina to just be like, this is shitty and it's hurting Bay's feelings and maybe you should stop.
I also think she's worried that's going to cause more drama between her and Catherine and John. And she's like, I don't want any of that. And she's trying to avoid that, to be fair.
Yeah.
But she also goes up to Catherine and is like, oh, don't worry about Melly and John.
Yeah.
Melly's married, happily married.
Lies.
But I would do that too.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the time to tell her.
Definitely not the time.
She's walking an eggshell. She's not trying to cause any drama, especially in a very stressful night.
But I think Regina is worried about the wrong person here. Because, yeah, Melody may be flirting with John, but it is ultimately harmless. But Regina is talking up this guy all night. And then Catherine turns around and says, that's Denise's ex. And he has a lot of baggage. And Regina gets so defensive, like Daphne level defensive immediately.
Like mother, like daughter.
I guess, damn. She's like, I don't care that it's Denise's ex-husband, whatever. And I think Catherine is, honestly, she's right to warn her.
They're both trying to help each other out.
And then Regina pulls Melody aside and yells at her a little.
Snap at it. Stop that.
Yeah, she says that's weird. She does call John, like, her surrogate husband. She's explaining why it's weird, and she's like, it's all too weird. John's basically my surrogate husband because he's the father of Daphne. I don't think that makes him your surrogate husband. Like, I don't think that's why it's weird.
I should just say
he's married.
It's too weird. Oh, and he's married.
Yeah, you could also just say he's married to Daphne's biological mother.
Yeah, he's married. Stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Melly is like outwardly flirting with him.
Very outwardly. And then Catherine's in the other corner confronting John. And we get maybe a hint of lore there because she's like, I never asked any questions about you when you were down in spring training.
Right, for baseball.
You never gave me any reasons not to trust you. But the way she's saying it, I'm like, you definitely had reasons not to trust him. I don't know. Like, why would you even bring that up now if you hadn't been thinking about it?
I think he's ever cheated on her.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I totally do. And she says, like, I know the way women behave around you. Like, just don't do it here. Yeah, the way that interaction went down, I was like, oh, they've definitely had this fight before. And then Regina finds Bay drinking a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Which she swiped off a waiter. Why are there waiters floating around with champagne at an event that is
for high school,
primarily attended by high schoolers and then their parents? Honestly, she kind of underreacts.
Yeah, and then Bay turns around and sees Daphne taking pics with the candidates.
Yeah.
I assume for the newspaper.
I guess for the newspaper, but that is rough. Bay should be in those photos.
But Regina kind of looks at Bay, but doesn't provide any words of comfort.
No, not her style.
No, why would she do that? Yeah, so Moody Emmett wants to leave, and I don't blame him because everyone there is hearing and also ignorant about deaf people.
And also he came to do a favor. Now the favor's over. He's done. He's going home.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm done. I'm not kissing their ass. I don't think he needs to be that whiny about it, but also he's a teenage boy. He could
Totally.
have just said, "This party's not for me. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm tired." But he kind of like confronts Daphne. He's like, "These people, Liam is not good for you." But it's not his place to say that, especially not right now. And I think that's something that Daphne needs to figure out on her own. And he says, "You're trying to be like them, I guess, like hearing people in the hearing world, but you'll never be like them." And that Daphne is throwing herself in the hearing world with a hearing boyfriend. She's trying to be hearing, blah, blah, blah. And that she really did leave so much of her East Riverside.
Yeah.
Like truly on.
Yeah, I think Emmett's just getting whiplash a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't think she's kissing their ass. I think she's trying to get to know her new family.
She just likes Liam. She has a crush on Liam, so she's just willing to just be like, yeah, I don't care about all this stuff, like other stuff. I don't know.
Emma is just being a little harsh, I think.
He's definitely being harsh. Remember, he's in love with her. That's what this is really about.
Yeah, Emma pieces out.
Well, and I think maybe he feels a little betrayed because Daphne calls him for a favor and he does it and she abandons him knowing that he's not comfortable in this world. And she says like, "Oh, you're leaving already?" As he's leaving. He doesn't come find her. He's just going to leave quietly. Right. And she's like, "Wait, you're leaving?" And that would piss me off. Yeah. Because it's not like she's even made an effort to be like, "Let me bring you around, introduce you to people. Like, I can interpret a bit. Regina's there. Regina could interpret a bit. Melody could be helpful." I'm also like, I don't think Melody even realized her son was there.
Yeah.
She is off with John Kennis. She does not care. So, yeah, it's a mess. I empathize with both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Toby's milking the Swisher situation with the girls. That was a very quick scene.
Honestly, get it.
He said, "What if it happened to me?" That was it.
Good for him.
And then Catherine and Daphne have a little chat. And Catherine, I think, says to Daphne, "You must be like an exhibit at the zoo." And then Daphne says, like, which is something that I thought was interesting. I'm used to it. And I get it because, like, if I'm signing with my wife on the train, people stare. Daggers. Going back to the title of the show.
Yeah.
And Daphne says they're just curious. You know, they want to know how I deal with it. So I do my best to make them feel comfortable, which I think is a very interesting thing to say. Because I think it's not her job to make them feel comfortable. She's quite the people pleaser. And I think Emma's the complete opposite. He's kind of like, "I'm deaf, so what? Get over it. This is who I am." Yeah. And he's like, "I don't want to make you feel comfortable. You need to accommodate or like be accessible to me." And Daphne's the other way around.
Yeah, it's not surprising to me that that's how Daphne feels, but it does make me sad for her that that's
it's sad. Does. It's just sad.
Yeah. But it inspires Catherine to get up on stage.
And she does throwing out the script TV trope.
I love when people do that. She stumbles. She's like, "This school stands for the values." And then she rips up the cards and she says, "I almost forgot to shout out Regina tonight, the mother of my husband's love child."
Just kidding.
Just kidding. JK. And it makes everyone laugh. And then everyone feels more comfortable.
And she said, "We're doing fine."
Yeah, which kind of a lie, but...
And please do the silent auction for the love of God.
She said, "After you donate to the school, I will tell you whatever you want to know about the Switch." And then she leaves.
Yeah.
Queen of fundraising.
Yeah, and then after Catherine's speech, Bay and Daphne once again have another argument over Liam.
Yeah, that's rough.
They are dishing it out. Daphne critiques Bay's bad attitude and moodiness.
Yeah, Daphne says, "Do you want me to apologize for being nice?" Which is like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and then
she's not being very nice.
Yeah, and then Bay critiques her nice, shiny personality, and then accuses Daphne of trying to steal her life. Which Daphne is not trying to do intentionally.
No, and I'm with Daphne when she said, like, "This happened to me too. Like, This happened to you as much as it happened to me." I will say right now, it seems that Daphne got the better end of the deal.
Oh, she sure did.
And that is fair and something that Daphne, like, does not want to admit.
And then she gets mean because she says, "You're playing the victim," and Liam was right. It's just
drama. That's fucked up that she says that. You should not.
Yeah, but then Bay gets her ass and then at least I can keep a guy interested.
Yeah, Bay kind of goes like, "Well, I fuck hard," and it's like, no, you don't, Bay.
You actually don't. You're a virgin, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, so she's just lying, but it definitely affects Daphne. You can tell.
Sick bun.
Yeah, because then she goes and finds Liam by that damn pool, again and is basically like, if you and Bae didn't watch zombie movies or talk about sports, ugh, she's such a pick-me, then what did you do?
And he kind of just like, I don't know. We just
Mostly fought. Like, we weren't that good of a match.
Because it was easy, because our parents knew each other.
Yeah.
They were together for convenience, basically.
Which then is annoying because it's like, you kind of know Bae doesn't actually care about Daphne dating Liam. Like, it's the principle of it. She's not, like, heartbroken over Liam.
No, she has Ty now.
Yeah, she's fine. Basically, Daphne's, like, crying, and she's like, I have to choose this family. Like,
Taylor Close acting her ass off here.
Yeah, she does a really good job.
I agree.
I was empathizing with her.
Yeah, she breaks up with Liam.
She breaks up with Liam. Bye, Liam.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's been 3 days.
Yeah, it's like a little... But I remember being a teenager.
I wasn't dating as a teenager.
Oh, I was, and it was very dramatic, so...
Yeah, everything is so painful. You feel everything.
It's like the first time you felt everything, so it's really heightened.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
But then, Regina gets a
boy.
Regina gets a boyfriend. Regina gets asked out by Denise's ex, and you can see there's a moment where she's like, I know I should say no, but she doesn't. She's like, yeah, I'll go out with you.
She wants to get laid.
She wants to get laid, I get it, but also, like, Regina just told Daphne she should break up with Liam because it's too much drama and risking the family. And then literally turns around and in the same night goes and finds the guy that Catherine was like, please don't date that guy. It's going to be uncomfortable for everyone. And is like, yeah, let's go.
Very hypocritical of her.
Yeah, very shitty. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Regina.
And then...
The fundraiser's over now.
Fundraiser's over. Catherine... turns out has secretly bought John's jersey from the auction because John was like, I was only letting Melody flirt with me because I'm insecure because no one's bid on my jersey. So she goes and buys it because John doesn't know. He comes up to her and he's like, someone just bought my jersey for, quote, a lot of money.
How much do you think that was?
I'm dying to know. $5,000 is where my brain went.
I was thinking in the thousands. And I'm also like, wouldn't John notice that thousands of dollars have gone missing? I guess not, because they're very wealthy.
They're really rich. So...
Yeah, and then Bae is sitting alone with her wine, and then she throws it in the fire. And I am wondering, isn't wine flammable?
That's what I also wrote. Should it not have burned up?
Shouldn't it have not burned down the property?
It's probably prop wine, which is just grape juice. So then it, like, extinguishes the fire table a little.
But if you have wine, don't throw it in the fire.
Yeah, don't throw it in the fire. Also, that's at least her second glass of wine. Who is serving her at this function that's at her home?
A very bad waiter.
God.
But Ty shows up like 4 hours late.
Yeah, Ty shows up so late, but he is wearing a suit and he does look hot.
He does, and they say, let's blow this popsicle stand.
He comes, he picks her up, they leave, which is what she wanted all along. He didn't actually need to go to the event. He could have come hours ago.
She just wanted someone to talk to, honestly.
And as Daphne is still crying over her breakup with Liam, she watches Bae climb into Ty's truck, and they drive off into the night.
Do you know what song is playing at the end?
I recognized it, but I couldn't tell you.
It's Jar of Hearts by Christine Perry.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, who do you think you are? Running around leaving scars.
God, yeah, Bae's being real. That's tough. I mean, she didn't force Daphne that second time to break up with Liam. She asked nicely once. Like, when they were fighting, she wasn't like, break up with Liam, and then Daphne went and did it. Well, she didn't really ask the second time. She was just like, yeah, it's weird, which it is weird.
I think she would have eventually gotten used to it, though.
She would have, yeah. They just needed to give it time. When Daphne was breaking up with him, I'm like, if you're crying this hard about it, maybe just be like, let's take a month. And because it's been a week since she moved
Liam,
in.
So whatever.
I know. I was happy by Liam, but I was just sad for Daphne, who had big tears in her eyes.
Yeah.
This is a tight episode.
Yeah, this is a fun episode.
So much is packed in there. It's really good.
Yeah, we get a new character, Bruce, and then obviously Austin Butler.
Oh, thank God he's here. When he showed up, I felt relief.
Yeah. An angel got his wings when he showed up.
Love him so much. One thing I hated about this episode that we kind of skipped over is when Catherine and John are fighting, when they're like making up, when John's apologizing to her about being gone, the final thing he says to her is, I heard a rumor. She's like, it just doesn't feel good for you to be off with a woman when there's all these rumors floating around tonight about how you like cheated on me. And he's basically like, I'm
I-
sorry, and I heard a rumor that you're gonna get lucky
Lucky.
tonight. Ew!
Ew. It's truly like listening to my parents flirt.
It is, like, Catherine's hot, but, like, her and John together, ew. And then also,
She should be gay.
she should be gay. And then also, John, not just John, if a man apologized to me,
And then said, it's fine. I'll have sex with you tonight.
it's insane.
I'd be furious.
The fight would restart tenfold.
Also, I just planned this whole party and I've been working for hours. I'm too tired.
She's exhausted. And then later on, when it's revealed that she bought his jersey, he comes over and he's like, how about we kick everyone out a couple of minutes early and then you and I continue celebrating? Again, ew. And then he goes, you know where to find me. And he goes upstairs. He's not even
have to do the dishes.
Yeah,
by himself.
he's not going to help clean up. He's just going to go and wait in bed for her to come up and have sex with him.
Yeah, because she's the woman. And they're Republicans.
Gross.
Yeah.
Ew. They're the couple I like the least in the show. I like them less than I liked Daphne and Liam.
I know.
God.
Yeah. Anyways, that was the episode.
That's the episode. Wow.
Yeah. Tune in next week for a new episode of The Shipper.
Tune in next week, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye.